huge thank you to our field individuals, the guy that took care of our field. I mean, they must have spent 12 to 14 hours a day moving snow, getting rid of ice. We had athletes volunteer to shovel out the stadium. I mean, this is an unbelievable place to have people rise up like that. And I know it's a big football game, but it's a football game. And so the combined effort of so many people, starting out with Jeff Holm, deserves a huge thank you. So, and the fans were unbelievable today, right? It doesn't matter how many they are; they were here to make a difference, and that was really fun to be part of. Thanks,
John. Offense, defense, the stakes, the magnitude of the game, and how good of an opponent that was. Is that the best your team has played this year in a long time?
I had about 15 people tell me that on the field, so I would have to say it's pretty good. I thought, especially defensively, because of the amount of yards they had been able to generate, and the quarterbacks, both of them are special. Now the Chambers got hurt early, but Tommy Watt's all-American type of guy. So, yeah, a great job by our defense. Great job by our coordinator. Great job by our coaches. Great job by our defense. Offensively, then to keep it rolling every time. Not punt. Great call and great design. Great job by the big guys in front.
As far as the defense, how much of it was maybe some schematic adjustments based on what you saw last year when they beat you? How much of it was just kind of the stuff you talked about this week, as far as tackling better and just guys doing their 111, so to speak?
Yeah, it's always a combination. There's never one thing in football, or probably in life, really. And I think one of the big things that you didn't mention is just the confidence. We won 12 straight. We'd come back. We'd put teams away, and these guys they've been around the block, and so they took the field with confidence, and that overrides scheme and drills and all that stuff. That's huge in a game of football.
Was it different, or what changed when Chambers went out? Because it looked like they were going to play both of them at the same time for maybe the majority of the game.
Well, nothing changed for us, because we had seen that on film. So we'd seen use him as a running back, throws the ball, all that stuff. So I'm guessing they lost some of their call sheet, whatever. And so ideally he's healthy. Ideally, I know what happened to Tommy, the other quarterback. So ideally those guys come back, because they're great competitors. And I think we get to see them next year too, maybe based on Slade's scheduling. So.
Coach,
and don't cut that out of the video, right?
Coach, you've been familiar with Coach Vegan for quite some time. How impressed are you, despite their loss today, how impressed are you with his success early on in his head coaching career?
Very impressed. I told him that to start out with, how good a football team they have, and how well they're coached. I mean, that starts at the top, and then ideally you get out of the way. That's what I do. But I'm very impressed with what he's done, and expect them to continue to have success. I know their leader, like our leader, Leon Costello, will give him an opportunity to have success. So.
Got the ball to Tucker in a bunch of creative ways today. Was there a push during the week to get him more involved in the offense?
Yeah, we're running out of time with Tucker, so we thought we'd make him earn a scholarship today, and he's just a great football player, and we did that with Dallas Goddard, a similar type of individual, and why not? And when you have the backfield we have, and Mark running the show, I mean, it's hard to defend everybody. So yeah, we wanted to get the ball in Tucker's hands.
In the previous two games, obviously just the 2 touches, but what impact does he have in the game when he's not maybe involved in the passing game?
Well, I think a guy with his potential future, and I think the first thing to answer your question is he's upbeat, right? So he's not getting the ball, but he's still positive. He's still a team guy, team first guy, and that's our culture, and those are the kind of guys we recruit. So, there's a guy that would maybe in other programs would expect and would maybe act differently, and Tucker's just a great teammate. You could hear that today. So.
Why do you think this game was so much more lopsided than last year's game, when, obviously being a loss last year in Dykhouse Stadium?
Well, I think both sides of the ball played really well, and so why did that happen? I credit our coaches, and and then our players executed. You know, you don't know how it's gonna go. You plan that when we run cab, we're gonna pull the guy, and he's gonna block the guy in open space, and Isaiah's gonna get 7 yards. You know, that's what we plan. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it's 47, sometimes it's 2. So that's a good football team we beat. So not to take anything away from them, but we were on today. I would say that's a big part of it.
Well, speaking of being on last week, I feel like you were very out there of saying, you know, Holy Cross was able to run the ball pretty easy on you guys, but then you limit Montana State to maybe 1.5 yards per carry. What does that say about the team's ability to respond, and what did you just see in that run defense?
Well, totally different approaches to running the football, but I think Saluka was the young man's name last week. I think that irritated our defensive coaches and so maybe they raised the level in terms of the investment. In terms of the called quarterback runs, I thought we did a good job on that. So,
Time for one more question.
Coach, you guys are gonna get the chance to meet NDSU in the championship now. What's it like facing your rivals in the championship?
I think it's kind of cool. Yeah, I think it's, you know, we're number one, we're excited to be able to go to the championship game. We feel very fortunate for that opportunity, and we don't take that for granted. So our guys will work as hard as they've ever have because of that opportunity. And the fact that it's a rival and it's for the national championship, I think it's a good storyline, and can't wait to have it happen.